You've tuned in live, and now we're here with our very first episode of Fit to Heal. I'd like to introduce myself, Goddess, from Fit Goddess Tribe, and the outstanding, phenomenal Rosalind, your life coach. Let's bring her to the screen and let's see who she is. Hey, Miss Rosalind. Let me tell us about who you are and what you're doing here today.
Um, I'm having trouble hearing it.
Oh no. Tell us who you are. Well, we've got some technical difficulties, but in the meantime, in between time, let me tell you who I am. My name is Jara, and I am the owner of Fit Goddess Tribe. We're here to bring you this show live called Fit to Heal. Our purpose is to discuss the different things that will allow us to set the captives free, so to speak. For instance, connecting the mind, body, and spirit back together, as well as bringing on our physicality. Oh, let's see if she's back in the room here. We've almost got her. So, real quick, I'm going to show you a little bit of what we do. For example, check this out. This was our Pride and Joy, our very first book, Breathe, right? And it stands for Build Resiliency Every Day and Think Health Eternally. The purpose of it was to add variety to your diet, build confidence in your food choices with smoothies that give you high energy, they keep you hydrated, and they provide the daily intake of vitamins and nutrients that you need. And as you can see, it's available for you on Amazon. Now, I'd love for you to check out this really super cool commercial. We'll be right back. It's always super cool to see that. And don't forget, you can get our book on Amazon. It's called Breathe. And again, we've been into the fitness for a while now. You can see here one of our social media pages. We had to get a new one, um, but we've changed it instead of just a tribe to Fit Goddess Tribe mindset because it really is a mindset in which you have to change and adapt to. We are now considering ourselves a holistic wellness brand that focuses on creating and sustaining healthy lifestyle habits. And you know, we've been talking about stress this month because April is Stress Awareness Month. We've been doing some things to help the community realize how it is important to one, relieve stress daily, and then two, some simple ways that you can make that thing happen. So we're so glad that you were able to join us tonight. My mama is having a little bit of trouble and technical difficulties, so don't mind me. I'm going to put up her video really quickly so we can see who she is. Here we go.
I'm Rosalind, your life coach here at Alchemy One. And here we offer virtual and in-person products and services to address all things wellness for the mind, body, and spirit.
Now we're gonna impromptu this. My mama's gonna sit here with me, but give me just one moment. We're gonna pause the camera and get resituated. All right, we're back and we're here. So, let me tell you that this is not easy to do, right? One, to sit up and talk about the things that you're passionate about, nor is it easy to control a whole situation, right? But here we are, we've made it. So, you've heard a little bit about my mom, Rosalind, your life coach. You've heard a little bit about me, even through the technical difficulties. But what we're here to do to talk to you about tonight is what we're really passionate. What would you say that is for you, Mom?
Passionate about
Yeah.
living.
Ooh, I like that. Passionate about living. Well,
Passionate about living well.
passionate about living well. Now, what would you say living well means to you?
When I think about, um, as a wellness coach, health and wellness coach, um, now it still means the same thing to me that it's always meant,
Okay.
which is being mentally, emotionally, physically, financially um, fit
Ooh.
so that you can enjoy your life without the stress of worrying about whether I'm healthy, whether I'm okay up here,
Mhm.
whether I'm okay here, whether I'm okay here. So once you get these types of things in order, which I'm not, I haven't, but I'm working on it, then so at this stage of my life,
Okay.
I'm trying to get all of those things mentally, physically, emotionally, fiscally, ready so that I can ease on until retirement and the rest of my life.
So wait, you mean to say, because I call you mother, so that obviously denotes that there's some definite age in between us.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me that at your age you're not, and I don't mean any offense by it, but you're not at the level of which most of us feel that at 20, right? I remember feeling like I should have been arrived and at this knowledge state by 20. You're not what you would say there yet.
Well, I mean, I'm past 20 into 40, but at at that, there's no way that you could have accumulated the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding of all that life entails at 20. You just got out of the womb good. You're still, as they say, what, wet behind the
Wet
ears.
behind the ears, you got a little bit of
You don't know
Similac on your upper lip.
nobody knows anything at 20. You think you do, but you don't really know anything. You haven't even died. You haven't paid rent. Most people have kids haven't been in relationships to know what they don't even hardly don't even know about sex. So
Right.
so age brings about those types of things, and then you have to learn what you're doing wrong because nobody gave you a booklet.
Hmm.
So after you fell on your butt a couple of times, got a couple of bumps and bruises, notches in your belt, you know some things, you've learned some things, you know what not to do. You don't really get a whole, oh yes, oh, and this is how you traverse this course called life.
Huh. Okay. So I agree with you to an extent because I have a mindset in which I feel like if people adopt this mindset at any age, that will help propel them to optimal health, wellness, reignite that mind, body, soul connection, the fit goddess mindset. Now, would you say, because we've discussed this plenty of times,
Mhm.
but would you say that in the past you've already had that mindset?
Oh yeah, it's nothing wrong. The fifth goddess mindset is the optimal, in my opinion, mindset you have. However, you don't have a mindset like that when you're young because you don't see the um, future. You're looking at right now.
Hmm.
You're not taking care of your body like what's our brother King
King
Cuz
Cuz, that's right.
does.
Shout out to King
Yeah, King
Cuz.
Cuz. He was fit a long time ago. He stayed fit. It became his lifestyle. But over time for the majority of us, okay, body's gonna last me forever. I'm gonna keep these muscles, and I don't have to do anything, and I can eat what I want. The mindset to maintain that lifestyle is not there.
Hmm. I agree. And in being a personal trainer, I definitely see it far more than not. A lot of what happens is women in particular. I've trained more women than men. So again, to all those out there, I'm not saying anything in particular about any one gender. It's just in my experience, women have this thing where we know exactly what we need to be doing for our individual self, and yet um, society, family, friends, relationships, whatever the case may be, something gets in there and wedges itself between what you know is your best, highest self, which will then allow for everybody else to flourish, and what the kind of expectation is for that role.
I feel you on that.
Hmm.
How we maintain as women, uh, the just let me use this as an example. Having children,
Ah,
it drains your body, depletes your calcium, it depletes your muscle mass, memory.
that's right.
It does so much damage to the body, and most women do not even know what it takes to bounce back after having a baby. How about this?
Hmm.
The ability for a woman to bounce back after having a child is based upon her ability to digest her food properly.
Well, I can see that because the uterine takes over all of the space of our internal organs, from the intestine, the stomach, the kidneys.
Yes, and the bladder, all of those organs have been compromised.
Right, in order to make room for this human being that is growing inside of you. So yeah, I could see
That's
that.
just one example.
Yeah, I didn't. That's not the example that I. That's not the way I use that example, but I really like that because gut health is a really, really big thing. A lot of what, as a people, I've noticed we suffer from is visceral fat, which is the fat that is encased around our organs. Which some of it is good because it supplies,
Yes,
cushion,
yes, yes,
so that it's just not skin and bones, as they would say.
right.
But too much of that visceral fat, and that ends up being a lot of where you heard the commercials, cortisol leads to stress. And
Yes,
it's again why we talk about stress awareness in April, because stress leads to cortisol.
yes.
Cortisol builds up the visceral fat, which makes it a lot harder for your organs to do, like you're saying, like
Mhm.
they need to do.
Right. And so at 20, who's thinking about that? This is irregardless of having children. Who's thinking about
Hmm.
maintaining the quality of my health at this age, at 20 or even 30. You
Hmm.
know, you're in your prime, you're looking good, you ain't got to do nothing, just wake up and walk. Some of people don't even have to comb their hair.
Fair enough.
You know, if they eat well enough, they might not even have to take a bath for a couple of days. But I'm just saying,
No,
you
it's
know,
a thing. I can see it.
so age over time, you know, your lifestyle only happens. You know, people only care about their health when it's compromised.
Correct. Now, okay, you say health, but it is my story and why the fit goddess mindset became into fruition was because of trauma. Uh, I am different than most women that I service because, like I said earlier, they know what they should have been doing, and they have like kind of this regressive cycle. They'll do it for a while, and then they fall back into that wedge of societal beliefs or whatever the case may be, and then they stop doing it and they start doing it. But as you age, that process gets harder and harder to
Come
bounce
back
back.
from.
Correct. My situation was different in that I've been growing from childhood trauma, trying to find safety and security in that which I have always been.
Mhm.
So once I hit my stride of, yo, I lost over 100 pounds. I've never been this small. I don't ever want to go back to feeling that way. And a lot of people will relate it to the weight. But again, this show, the purpose of this show is to show that it's not the physical weight that you saw was really physiological trauma
Right.
that was
Stress.
just stress appearing outwardly on
On the
my
body.
body.
Right. And so that's what this is. I mean, I'm doing good because I have a great personal fitness trainer lately and killing it. And I'm killing it. I'm like, I want to be back to that body. I know I'm never going to be 20 again. I know I'm never going to be 30 again. If I could just, well, get 35 maybe.
Yeah, it's all about a feeling,
Yeah,
yo.
but I just want this feeling of wellness, feeling healthy and well, so that I can go into my 60s and 70s and 80s and have some strength to fight.
Hmm. Now that part, right? The strength. Um, And again, what you'll see on this show as we discuss, it's just things to come. We really wanted to take just this first episode to show you our dynamic, to discuss why we believe we're fit to heal. And then that way, as we edify ourselves and each other, and we bring on more participants, more people for you to see, understand that we vetted them not only for us but for you. Um, Now I lost my train of thought because
Fit to heal.
yeah. So it brings me back to the mind body connection, right? For me, um, it was like I was always out of my mind, not out of my body, but out of my mind. So my mind would look at my body and be confused. Now, later on, this is called body dysmorphia, right? I didn't know that there were terms for all of these things. I even have a friend that has reverse body dysmorphia. And for those of you that don't know, body dysmorphia is when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see something different. Something is very askew, even though to the rest of the world, you may have the ideal body shape or whatever the place, face, whatever the thing may be. It is a mental issue in which the way your eyes work and they process within the brain what it's seeing, which is yourself, is totally different. Now imagine adding to that the fact that I can't see already.
You're not alone.
Right. It is a common problem. So again, it is these things that for me on this show deems my brand fit to heal. The fact that we've experienced a lot of traumas that unfortunately are far too common within the African American and Black and Brown communities. We've experienced a lot of whether it be childhood trauma or relationship trauma or just personal trauma due to bad choices. Um, but then on the other side of that, once we had kids, it was my second that was the catalyst for me that I was like, okay, I know what to do now because as we said before, women always know what we should do. And I used that catalyst, one pregnancy, to be like, okay, I know that the child always follows the condition of the mother. If you study history, that's what we learned in history, right? Which is why in slavery, right, the child followed the position of the mother. So if the mother was enslaved, the child was enslaved. If the father was free, it didn't matter because the mother was enslaved.
Right.
Same philosophy because the children are within inside of us.
Right.
So I began to consciously make an effort to exercise more, to at least drink more water, to eat seemingly better while I was housing this human.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, it was the desire to continue that same habit for them that showed me where I was wrong within myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I've got these beautiful, handsome sons, and I'm like, you should eat fruits because you are of God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are God's child.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really just helping you along the way. And
So what are you?
listen, baby. When I started to look at their little faces and finally see myself, and then that's where the village comes in. Oh, he's got your eyes. He looks exactly like you. My brain started to short circuit. Like, what? Feeding him well. I'm feeding them well. And they look like me. And I say that they're godlike. So, like you said, what does that make me? And hence the actualization of the Fit Goddess tribe.
Right. I love it. I mean, the beautiful part about it is that no matter what the trauma, what caused us to be, get unhealthy, get in my case, I'm going to say the word PHAT.
Okay.
How's that?
I was like, I don't know where you was going with it.
Yeah, because some people like it, some don't. I don't care who else likes it, as long as the men in the house loves it. But it's not something that you do for others. That's the key.
Oh,
You
shame.
have to do what you do for yourself, and it has to be, you know, it is going to be a lifestyle change once you get the mindset that, if I don't take care of this, nobody else is going to take care of it because what they eat doesn't make me fat, and what I eat doesn't make them fat. So I've got to be responsible for all of me.
That's right.
Came in this world. I got this beautiful temple. I've seen it at its best. I mean, when I was in high school, I was running track, gymnastics, ballet, tennis, in a band.
Sheesh.
I was destroying this beautiful. Well, not destroying it, but enjoying it.
Yeah, I
The
was gonna say
power
you
that
was
it had.
using all
I
of the
missed
power.
that power. I missed the strength. I missed the agility, the flexibility that I had to do all of the things that I did. And then over time, warp speed right on down. It's like you kind of shut down. And it's like now you're sitting behind the desk for 8 to 10 hours a day. Now you're riding in the car for 2 hours a day, and you're all in this sedentary lifestyle, right? Because we're not on plantations anymore, so we're not
But
getting the.
technically, we're still on
No,
plantations.
we're not physically doing the physical work that we were.
Correct.
Okay.
Now,
I'll just leave it
no. So I love that point because in thinking about it, right, we talk a lot about the systematic, the repetition, the habitualness that is required. The word is called discipline. um, but once we're taking out of that physicality, imagine the strength. Imagine the people that came from enslavement. Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner. That amount of physical prowess plus mental understanding convicted their mental and physical being to that of some might call a spiritual level, in which they not only
Superhuman.
how many enslaved persons did Rosa Harriet Tubman free? At least 700,
Yeah.
and that was on her own 2 feet.
Yeah, but there was something there that we are just getting back. We lost that, and that was the mind body spirit connection. When you get your mindset set, I'm going to do this, and you pull all the powers, your ancestral powers, your guardian angels, or whatever you believe in, and you superpower that thing.
Right.
There's nothing that you can't do. And I recently connected to that entity. And so now I know that if you want to stay here and be here for your husband, your children, your grandchildren, you're going to have to do some strength training, number one. Am I right?
That's right. Listen,
And strength
that's
training is
number
where you get
one.
your strength from. Number two, you got to make it a lifestyle. Because if you do it and you did what you did the first time and stop,
Ooh,
it's going to be much harder to catch back up.
ooh, that's right.
So
And that's the natural process of the body. We are here to decay. So how you do anything is how you do everything.
everything.
And the beauty of that is, again, there goes that word, discipline. If I'm disciplined enough in the morning to get up and pray, it is, once you become a serious client of mine in whatever capacity,
You're going
there's
to pray a lot, I'm just saying.
you gonna call out for God, and I'm gonna tell you to ask Him for that strength, because that's, I mean, I don't. I was raised Christian and technically Catholic, and then Baptist, because you know how the offshoots come. But everybody used the same Bible, and the God that I was taught said, right, love me, or love yourself as you love me, love others as you love yourself, right? So the Goddess tribe goes in that. If if any two things create a something like themselves, then God creating me, it means that I, to some extent, am God-like,
Right.
which means
Sorry. I mean, y'all, it's in the book. I mean,
it's in
what
the
do you?
book.
I can't dispute it. So,
Reading is fundamental.
fun first,
It
and
is
then
fun
it's
first.
mental.
That's right. And but to that regard, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Maybe.
Meaning, if I lack discipline in my own personal self-care ritual, then I will lack discipline in everything else. Because if I am not willing, nor do I make myself able and accountable for myself first and foremost, what to what do I owe you? Because
What can I
again,
do for you?
what can I do for you? And even
I
if
can't
I
even do for myself.
that part.
Yeah.
So again, the fit goddess mindset is about self-reliance.
Case in point, she said the word right there, self-reliance. So when I work out with this beast of a fitness
I
goddess,
don't do anything.
what she does is, she tells me, gives me the exercise. I have my own, she has hers, and but it, because I have a mindset to get where I'm trying to go, I don't really just stop at the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough for me. Okay, do 10 of those, do 12 of these. It's it's going beyond.
Hmm.
It's pushing myself beyond, because the reason why I push beyond, and I would encourage anybody who's serious about getting strength training
That's
and
right.
being fit, is to go beyond, because going beyond is where that superhuman power comes from, strength you didn't know you had. And if you didn't know don't know you have it physically, you'll never know you have it mentally.
Now, so what you said, right,
What did I
is phenomenal. There's an actual scientific word for what's happening, that process, right? It's when I got into dance fitness, one of my mentors told me to look this up, and it's the principle of overload. So essentially, in order to do more,
That's right.
you must do more.
It's a fitness training principle.
Correct.
That works.
But I mean, again, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if I can say in fitness, if I do a little bit more, I will therefore condition my muscles, right?
Indeed.
And my mind to do more. Cool thing about the brain is that synapses, when they start to fire, you start to create a process in which your brain is used to and then becomes addicted to that habit of
Right.
creating new synapses and connections from one side of the brain to the other.
Which is why people who work out and train sound and act obsessive. It's not an obsession, it's a drive. It's a physical adrenaline hormonal change that takes place physically that happens mentally.
That's right.
And so, you know,
We're chasing the high.
chasing the high.
We're chasing the high.
Didn't mean to say it, but that's what it is.
Well, so we talk a lot about addictions in the world. And because of that, with my profession, it's always been about replacing words. Things like manipulation. I love to use that word, and people are always like, "Oh my god." However, that's because right now, as the world stands, we tend to manipulate people
Right.
and not
Not
things.
things. Right.
Manipulation is not bad. If you have children in school, they are given manipulatives. They're normally like cards or dice or crayons, something that they can break, bend, mold. Um, that's the purpose. And you use manipulation in creation. Like if you've ever gone to a pottery class or a painting class, all that is manipulation. Um, so for us, it's a matter of connecting with our clients, seeing what their internal pains are. Because in any session, whether it's your hairdresser, your barber, your personal trainer, you're going to have conversations about whatever's going on in your life. And what I've learned about personal training is that you're going to tell me about your pains because I'm putting you in pain in that moment. And the way the brain works is once you've opened a folder for anything, everything in that folder comes out. The beauty of it is I need it to.
Mm-hmm.
We as a people have been holding on to so much pain and trauma, and a lot of it isn't even of us. Some of it is it our ancestry. We talk a lot about breaking generational curses. Some of it belongs to society. Some of it belongs to our parents, our grandparents, and but
Everybody, teachers,
yeah,
preachers, politicians,
that part.
governments, rather. And
Yeah,
so,
systems. And those things, if you sit and ruminate on them, and for those of you that may not know, the word ruminate means to think over and over again, normally in a negative manner about whatever the thought is. So imagine we're habitual creatures, and now we are setting our mind, the thing that dictates first our words, then our actions. All we're doing is replaying this terrible cycle of music,
mm-hmm. That means,
bad
yeah.
music, right? And I always say that there's a difference between a groove and a rut, but not much, right? Because you get in a rut doing the same thing. It's terrible. You
Yeah.
don't like it.
Can't get out.
Can't get out. You keep digging, you go get in deeper.
Yeah.
But you get in a groove, baby. Them hips start swinging. You start feeling joy and life and freedom. You
Blood
really,
flowing,
yeah.
circulation. So you're hitting the nail on the head. You made a point earlier, and I wanted to expand on it because one of the things that happens, and this is where what we come in, we're talking about fitness, fit to heal, being fit or getting fit so you can heal,
Mm-hmm.
is that if you if you have a strong body and a strong mind, then whatever happens to you, if you get in a car accident, you know,
That's happened to me.
the stronger you are, the more strength you have to fight, the more you have to work with, the more you can pull on your.
There's a quote for that.
What's that called?
The stronger you are, the harder they fall. Now, you take that as, oh, timber, they're going to fall and it's going to be heavy. But did you ever consider that it takes actually more for a strong person to fall than a weak person? A lot of times, what I've learned about quotes is they cut them down to make them real short so that
But they don't
they
make sense
stick.
without the whole quote. Yeah,
Correct. Another one misused that's like that is a jack of all trades and master
master
of
of none.
none is usually better than a master of one.
Right.
But nobody
They
says,
don't say that last part.
or James Brown has one. This is a man's world, comma, but it
It
ain't
would
nothing
nothing
without a
without a
woman
woman
or
or
a
a girl.
girl. It's the cyclical thing, like you were saying. Um, that level of respect of self between the masculine and feminine within self that projects outward to the respect of masculine and feminine within the world.
Within the world.
And it starts with self. One, it has to be taught by someone, which is the role that we're taking on with this show to some degree. We're taking on the role of scaffolding or creating bridges between the knowledge that we are so passionate about finding and seeking out and searching because everybody else is not, and it's not a bad thing. Everybody has their own passions. There are people that are really into painting that find things that I'm gonna be like, yo, I don't, that's great. But for us, you like reflexology, you are into Reiki. What else are you into?
Aromatherapy, essential oils, herbal remedies and alternative homeopathic remedies, plant-based medicine, anything that is non-prescription,
Hmm.
non-pharmaceutical, non-invasive. Um, so I go to the doctor and tell the doctor what the problem is. The doctor says, what's the problem?" "Well, I'm this and this and that." He says, "Well, what you have is such and such and such." And then he says, "Well, this is what you need." And he gives me a prescription drug.
Hmm.
And that's all the doctor can do.
Hmm.
He may, if he's a really good doctor, he said, "Well, maybe you should lose some weight, change your diet a little bit." But most doctors don't do that. They work for the pharmaceutical companies that tell you take this medicine and put that chemical in your body, and that will get rid of the symptoms,
But not the
but
actual
not the root.
problem.
So our job is to pull all of this stuff out.
Hmm.
But first, we got to get you strong, fit, healthy, moving.
Right.
This is your medicine right now. Moving, getting your body strong, strength training, boxing, and this crazy stuff that's going on over here. And then we can look at. I
The
can
other
tell a
issues.
lot about. You can tell a lot about me, right? You know I'm
Yeah.
imbalanced.
Right.
She knows I have poor balance in my life because I overextend over here and underdo over here, based upon what she sees me do physically in the gym.
Right.
I can't I can't get that balance, and until I get that balance, so the mind, body, spirit are all connected. So
Correct.
if you're not stable and balanced in life, 9 times out of 10, it will show in the gym
That's right.
when your physical body. You're going to be unaligned.
Right. And then you'll be like, well, how did you know?
Yeah,
Just taking a guess
yeah,
based off of what I see,
yeah.
just taking a educated guess. And from being a leader by example, and what I mean when I say that is a lot of our doctors, like you were saying, aren't doing for us. So we as a team go out and search out other doctors that are doing for us, that um, look at our,
Whole,
thank you,
yeah, the whole person.
thank you.
So the tools that we're using.
Hmm.
Um, One of the tools we have is a biometric body scanner, which goes. It's a handheld scanner. It's very small,
Oh,
and
handy dandy.
it has a little metal. I'm wrong way, right?
That's right.
This little metal part right here, your skin touches it, and it's made by this company called Itobi. I'm going the wrong way.
There you go. You
All
got
right.
it.
So in about 7 minutes, it'll hook up to your phone and it'll tell you what's going on emotionally,
Hmm.
what your stresses are, your hair, skin, your nails, your bone health, things like that. And they offer recommendations, homeopathic and um, natural products, remedies. Um, and then you have,
I have a similar scale, right? And mine is much larger. You stand on it barefoot, and it is still biometrics because that's where we're at now. We're looking at the biology, the internal biology of what your makeup is. Once you step on this scale, it's not the medical grade one that
right,
I want for the company just yet. However, it does serve a purpose. It allows me to identify how much water you have in your system, how much of your body is actually made up of fat, where the fat lies versus what my favorite thing is your skeletal muscle mass is. And that is the predictor of longevity. There are plenty of people that are studying and doing research, but it's something that we as a people have always known. What we used to say is we have dense bones or we're
yeah,
big
big bone.
boned. What that really translates to is we have a phenomenal skeletal
Skeleton mass.
mass, right? Meaning our bones and muscles are dense because lean mass is heavier
Mm-hmm.
than
And
fat
fat.
mass. So with that, having nice, strong, lean muscle allows for the consistent burning of residual fats,
Fats.
which we need in our
Right,
body
right.
to
A little bit
exist.
of it anyway.
Yeah,
Not much, not too much.
But it's depending
Yeah.
on your personal prototype of
Right.
what you want to see yourself as. Where those fat deposits are stored depends on you.
Right.
You can make anything grow.
Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah, you can make anything grow.
true. And I like to make my muscles grow again. I miss them.
That's right.
And so at this, what I was telling you earlier, at this age, what I'm trying to do is ensure a little bit more longevity. Now, I have longevity in my family. My family, I was blessed with people who live long on both sides of my family.
Hmm.
However, things have changed. We got all of this crap in the air. We
Hmm.
got all of these diseases. We've got melting uh,
Everything.
ice
Ice glaciers. Yeah.
glaciers and all of these exposed million-year-old bacteria and biological um, uh,
Everything.
everything is coming out that wasn't here before, that has been down
And dormant.
and dormant for so long. So, but because of the dormancy, it is no longer there, and these spores or whatever they are being exposed, we're exposed to more diseases.
Hmm.
So, by us being exposed to more diseases, the situation where our ancestors live long, the conditions are no longer the same. We got fuel in the sky, they're dropping jet fuel, they're pouring petroleum in the oceans,
Oh
or
God.
we're drinking that water. It's a whole we've that kind of screwed up the everything, not just the ozone, but just consider reading about global warming and what it's doing and what it has done.
That's right.
And so, you know, so against those things we're fighting physically, and aging
Mm.
on top of that, and poor dietary habits on top of that,
Correct.
and sedentary lifestyle on top of that, we are limiting our own longevity.
Hmm.
So this is why we're adamant about getting the information out there and getting the knowledge and giving people options of what they can use and take and do,
Correct.
as opposed to just taking a pill and calling a doctor and putting these man-made chemicals in the body
Right.
could do more damage than
Then
what
good.
just taking care of yourself and eating well and certain things will do for you.
Correct. Prevention is always better than the cure.
Right.
You don't need the cure if you
You don't
prevent things.
you prevent the disease.
Correct. And again, this show is meant to provide access to individuals, one that we have personally come across as a health practitioner. I'm a believer of the Barry White era, you know what I'm saying? Practice what you preach. So I often go to my doctors. It is a triumph for me to go to my doctor and take a what for some maybe a 2 hour ordeal, and it's legit 20 minutes. We're in there. She checks me.
You good.
You good? Glad to hear you say it. See you next year.
Yeah.
And I do the same with my children because they almost now, when they were very, very little, they used to get afraid because a year is a long time to a kid for you to only ever go to the doctor once a year. And it's really just for the doctor to use their tools to investigate what's going on and make sure that they're okay. Now, we are of the same knowledge, so much for that we just said we have our own tools to assist you when you go to the doctor, because a lot of what my doctors tell me is that our people are um, afraid, and rightfully so. There are a lot of things that has happened in our history that would make us weary or guarded when it comes to going into those arenas, but that fear shouldn't stop you.
Yeah.
I had one of my nurses, they have a regular question that they ask us. Have you ever felt depressed or anything? It's a concern question because as a doctor, it is their job to help you find something to solve said problem. But what my doctor told me is that most individuals catch an attitude. They get frustrated, offensive, or defensive. Well, what are you trying to say? I'm just asking if you need help. I don't know if anybody asked you all year if you might have been depressed.
I'm not okay.
Right. But
I'm
that is
not
normally
okay.
the sign. And we're so used to not being okay and being okay. Who was it? Maya Angelou. I think, said if they don't, if you smile and you don't tell them,
Mhm.
they'll assume that you liked it.
Mhm.
That's what's happening to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
We're smiling through all of this pain and actually doing ourselves, our community, our family members, society a disservice by putting our self-care so low on our own totem pole that we get frustrated when somebody asks us if we might need help.
Yeah. Because you bury it so long and you forget that you buried it. And, you know, pain, suffering, and it shows up.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I realized is you can't hide a sickness.
Mm,
It will show up. It will show on your skin. What happens internally will express externally. And you mentioned something about, um, um, going to the doctor just to get a baseline. Even if you just go to get a baseline, and where am I, doc?
right.
And oh, you're a mess. Okay, then I know I'm a mess.
Right.
So then they're going to prescribe drugs or whatever. If you come and get a scan from somebody, say like us, and we are reading your health um, vitals from a molecular
Mm,
and from a cellular level, then over time, you can address some of these issues and get them resolved quickly, quietly, non-medicinally,
correct.
with natural remedies, which we do have, products and things like that, and methods. And then, now you have a fighting chance. So, say for instance, there was a person that I know that scanned for some diseases long before they became diseases, and they had all of the
Mm,
markers there, just like yours will show. Your
right.
your scale will show. It will tell you all the markers that are there, and then they can do things to prevent them
Correct.
before they turn into a disease.
Correct. Because the disease is just unease in the
Yeah,
body.
your body's not at ease.
We forget that we are simply vibrations, and any frequency sounds good or bad depending on whether you're in a rut or a groove.
Or a groove. That's right. I like that one.
But and what also Fit Goddess brand offers is just these curation of classes or events that kind of scaffold or bring that kind of ease to allow your guard to come down as a community. If you're sitting in a room, we've done our Goddess and Divas.
Sound
Yep.
healing.
Sound healing. We've done movement classes. We've done sensual movement classes. We have fun food and fitness for the kids. And for those adults that may not know how to cook, it's fine. It's not a big deal if there's something you don't know. Actually, it should be celebrated that there's something that you don't know because it gives you an opportunity to learn something new. Um, but in that sensual movement class, I wanted to say again how I really like what you do because sensual just comes from senses. And a lot of what healing you offer relates to the senses, the sense of smell, the sense of touch,
Right.
the vibrational
Vibrational
sense.
senses. Yeah. Um, yeah. So just for instance, aromatherapy.
Hmm.
I use these Young Living essential oils. I've been in Young Living for over 20 years now, and in using them, um, I can't say that they saved my life because I don't know how much danger my life was in, but some of the products and some of the oils have opened, literally opened me up to some change in vibration. Reflexology is just a matter of you know, touching certain meridians, just like an acupressure, acupuncture, that relieve pain without having to deal with the pain at the root. I mean, at the actual source of it.
And that can make it easier.
Yes, and it's very relaxing. Reiki, another one, is very relaxing. Chakra healing,
That's right.
you know. And so, and then definitely life coaching. That's the main thing, is because it's a place where, talking about baselines, where you are right now. Where do you want to go? Like me, this my baseline was a year ago. What do you want to do? I want to get fit.
That's right.
Well, go to the Fit Goddess, and that's what I did. And now I'm getting fit. So for what? I'm getting fit for the rest of my life.
Correct.
I want to be strong, and so you have options. You don't have to suffer, and you don't have to be afraid of going to a doctor. But you can go and get a baseline, and we
Correct.
don't tell anybody not to go to a doctor. We don't. We're not making.
No, I
Should I
actually
put it
tell
with a
people.
disclaimer at the beginning?
No. So I actually tell my clients before you work with me, if you do have an ailment, let's say I've met high blood pressure. Let's say you have fractured discs or slip discs. You have a new hip. You have any kind of
You need to
thing.
know that.
Because again, there's things that my skill doesn't show me, and I need to know those things in order to actually work hand in hand with you. Now, I will say that as a professional, I will encourage you, if your doctor is not servicing you in the way that best suits you, that you may want to find another doctor. However, I also offer other doctors, right? I researched my own. I just recently found a new podiatrist, which in this case, I was one of those people that was kicking myself because I thought my original podiatrist, was
You got your
phenomenal.
foot stuck when you were kicking yourself?
No, that's why now I have to fix the things from kicking myself, right? However, it was very simple, the difference, right? My non-melanated podiatrist examined my toe, did an x-ray, which made me feel like something was being done. What he didn't address was that my toe, my big toe, because of my activity level, is starting to do this, right? So over time, it's going to start to, if I don't do something, it's going to start to go under my little toes, right? And then it's going to produce a bunion on the side of my foot. Now imagine, my non-melanated doctor never said nothing about that. Imagine if I had continued on with my life, and one day I would have looked down at my feet and been like, oh my goodness, and had to have a couple of surgeries, I'm sure, to correct something that now I know that, again, I had a little midlife crisis, right? There's a little sleeve that I can wear on my foot at night to help re-straighten the bone. During the day, there's a little splint, I think he called it, that I can,
between your toes.
yeah, that'll help get it back straight. And then my middle toe, because everybody's body is a little bit different. Again, on my machine, I can tell you if you're left dominant or right dominant because of how much weight and body mass you have is proportion throughout your body. I'm left dominant, so my left foot is actually maybe an inch bigger. However, because of my activity level, what happens to my longest toe is it jams, it hits the shoes, which is making the nail dark. Which, when I had a sedentary life, that stopped. And I didn't know to ask the question to be like, what's the difference? Why am I toe black now and not now? I just figured I had done something right, so therefore it was fine.
Going to the doctor.
Correct.
It's an activity. Going to the doctor.
It is. Your self-care should be your full-time job. It is. And I remember telling my podiatrist in that moment, like, yo, this is very intensive because I got to talk to a podiatrist, a neurologist, a, depending on what happens, maybe a heart doctor, maybe a lung doctor. We haven't gotten to those points yet.
But the beautiful part about the products that we have, like one of the products we have is the DNA. Itobi does a DNA scan.
Oh.
So it tells you if you can go get a scan and do a DNA swab, and it'll tell you when the results come back based upon your genetic markers what issues of ailments and diseases that you're predisposed to. I'm sure other DNA stuff products do the same thing.
Right.
This is specific to you personally, not your family history.
Very true.
That you're predisposed to, and it because it's genetic and it's DNA, it's both parents.
Ooh.
Both of your parents.
Right.
genetically. So you know, you may do a DNA test, and you may get go. You know, my father's side this, my mother's side that,
Correct.
but no, but you don't get
The
you
mix
don't get the
between.
mix between the two when they came together and had you, and you created your own separate genetic makeup.
Right.
So with their issues, predispositions locked into your physical DNA.
Hmm.
So so once you understand that, you know, you have even more of an opportunity to, you know, take your baseline and okay, this is where I need to go, this is what I need to do physically, you know.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
the ultimate self-awareness kit is really
Well,
what we're trying to package and present to you. Between the two of us, she has her again her senses, right? The Tavi, the aromatherapy, the Reiki that will take care of all of the outwardly things that surround the body. I have my body scale. I have our nutrition plans, as well as different ways to make physical activity a daily thing as opposed to like some kind of torment. Yes, we do have to go to the gym, but I always say that it's really just a unit of measurement to see how much you have grown. We can always, and my favorite, because they're coming soon, our Catch Me Outside series for fitness. And we've got, it's not just me, it's not just her. We know plenty of other personal trainers, yogis, belly dancers, dance fitness instructors that are all coming to be a part of the tribe and provide access, not only for us, because we need it too, but we are extending said access to you. And we hope that again, this show is really just for you to get a chance to get to know us, know what we're here to do, know why we believe that we're fit to heal. And through continuously watching the show every week at Monday at 7:15, going forward, we'll have special guests that maybe they're doctors, maybe they're fitness coaches. We'll bring the gamut of professions here to you because we believe that you deserve the access. And just like I found it, it wasn't easy for me to find. I go to some really weird places at my age, right? I go to brain aging forums, which the average person there is 55 and above. But the things that are there, I think, are vital for all of us of any age. Hearing tests, vision tests, podiatry, which is a main one because a lot of us forget our feet. And
oh, it's a lot of parts, body parts. Our bones, our teeth,
that's right.
our feet,
Right.
our back. You know, people have scoliosis walking around, they don't even know it.
Right. Sciatica.
Your nerves, your eyes, your hearing. You know, this is your body. I mean, you
You live in it.
got to take care of it.
Right. And we plan to use our platform and this show, Fit to Heal, to do just that. Allow not only us, but our community to feel the blessing, the abundance, and deserving. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it works for me. That you deserve to, that you're worthy of, and the overall beautiful feeling that you get from healing. It is
And being fit.
and being fit mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. We will have people on here that are business coaches. We will have people on here that are spiritual in whatever way that may mean to you.
Just everything. The finances, the emotions, the physical body,
That's right.
the what else is there? The spiritual
The
body,
spiritual
the
body.
vibrational body,
That's
the
correct. And the connection between all of them. So, real quick, we're getting ready to sign off. And again, I thank you, everyone who joined us live. And if you're tuning in later, just drop some comments. Let us know what kinds of things that you have questions about in terms of health and wellness. That way, as we go out into the world and do our search, we can find the things that you're looking for. But before we go ahead, Mama, tell them who you are one more time.
what was that?
No, you keep talking.
Oh,
Don't worry about that.
well,
They don't see the man behind
The man behind the screen. The
Yeah,
odds is doing the Wiz is doing her thing. Yeah. So I am Rosalind Collins. I'm Rosalind, your life coach. I'm a life coach, life and wellness, fitness, and health coach. I'm an herbalist, aromatherapist. I do a raindrop technique. I'm a motivational speaker, herbalist, personal fitness trainer, and a whole lot of other stuff.
That's right.
Whole lot more. So I am here to serve our community, to give you options outside of the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry. And I think in time that is going to go away from us. I just really
Hmm.
believe that. Then what are we going to do? We have to have some sort of options, and we have to get ready so that when they say, "I'm sorry, we don't have your your blood pressure medicine or your heart medicine here anymore," what are you going to do?
That's right. We
You have
had the
to have
same issue
options.
with Similac and the babies.
You know, so then what?
True indeed. I absolutely love it.
Mm.
And as for me, my favorite thing to say is, hey, tribe. I am jar like a jar of knowledge. I also go by Goddess. That is my newest name. We're here to bring you everything about health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Our job is to help you build this fit goddess mindset. And don't think just because we're both women, we both love the men that are in our lives, and we wouldn't be who we are without them. So don't forget that in every goddess there is a god. So shout out to you two brothers. You will see a lot of them here on the show. And again, I do this for my son. Look at their handsome faces there. Well, we hope you stay tuned each and every week. Again, Mondays at 7:15, we'll be here to present to you something new, something great as far as health, wealth, and knowledge so that you can join us in being fit to heal. We'll check you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.